All right, so I think we're going to start with some introductions before people go out and come in. So Javier Villamizar, I'm an operating partner at the SoftBank Vision Fund. I've been here for around 4 years. I run a team of operators that support the more than 350 companies that we have invested over the last 5 years. We support companies with different value creation initiatives. Particularly, I have been in the blockchain industry for a few years. I started Bitcoin mining many years ago, and then I started investing personally in the space. And I'm a big fan, a big proponent of the use of blockchain for multiple applications. Ludovico.
Hello, everyone. And yes, I'm Ludovico Rossi, CRO of Bricken. We have been in the market, the STO market, for 2 years. And now we are about to launch our DApp, decentralized application. It's a decentralized protocol to launch self-launching STOs for startup or whoever want to launch an STO, and supported by an ecosystem of experts that allow you to have technical support in a local level.
Lucas. So, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah. So this is Lucas from Alpha Growth. In our case, our company is trying to bring the blockchain to all the companies that want to use the technology. What we do is we try to understand if there's some solution that we can bring to the company, like Bricken, for example. So we just implement this kind of solution, and if not, we just develop them. I mean, Web3 is growing. Not all solutions are done, so we can also kind of develop the technology, and we think that STOs are kind of something that's going to change how we think about managing investment in companies.
Excellent. Thank you, Lucas. So let's start this conversation by asking the audience a couple of questions, right? How many of you have ever bought a stock in an application or through a bank? A lot of people here, right? How many of you have bought a cryptocurrency or a token? A lot of you guys. That's good. That's what I needed, right? So I can now start. So if you have done both, right, today, you probably recognize the difference in the experience, right? When you go into an eToro or a Robinhood, I don't know, my 15-year-old kid can do it, right? The only thing you need to do is have enough money in your account or connected to your bank account, select Facebook or Apple or Tesla or whatever it is, click buy, and you're done, right? When you try to buy crypto, in some cases it's a little bit more complicated, right? And exchanges have tried to make it easier, but we're not there yet. Now, when you buy a stock, for example, in eToro or Robinhood, how many days do you think it takes for that stock transaction to settle? 2 days. 2 days. Anybody has any other view? 5 minutes. Anything in between 2 and 15 days, right? So when you click on eToro buy Facebook, it's not that magically somebody in the NASDAQ Stock Exchange said, oh, Miss Howard, now you own 0.37 shares of Facebook, and this is on your name, and there is a ledger where that name is there. No, that is completely virtual, right? You don't own anything at that time. Robinhood or eToro are making you believe that you own that, but technically you still don't own that. And at the end, the only one that owns that is that company that holds those stocks for you, right? So that's the way that securities have worked for many years, probably 100 years, right? Since the stock market started. Blockchain, being a distributed ledger technology, allows for this kind of interaction, this kind of transactions to happen faster, more efficiently, and with almost close to immediate settlement, or what we call in blockchain technology finality for the transaction, right? So it just makes sense that one of the most important applications of blockchain technology, or DLT, is precisely taking that security environment, security ecosystem, and apply the blockchain technology to make it easier, more efficient, and in some cases cheaper, right? And that's what basically security tokens are trying to solve, right? Trying to represent a security from the real world in a distributed ledger technology. And a security could be a lot of things, right? I mentioned stocks, but a security could be an invoice, right? Could be a receivable. It could be the deed of a property. It could be a piece of something that I own, right? So all those things that we call securities in the real world could be represented and could be enhanced by blockchain technology. So we have here two companies that, some way approach this space and are working hard to make these security tokens kind of mainstream, right? So I'm going to start by asking Ludovico his view on the adoption of security tokens, right? How are we going to get there? Sounds great, sounds amazing that, one day we don't need NASDAQ and everybody trades stocks on the blockchain the same way that we interchange, cryptocurrencies and NFTs and in the normal exchanges. How far are we from there, and what is needed? How many years this has been in the making, and what needs to happen for it to be reality, and considering regulatory side, legal side, and obviously adoption?
Okay, I think that what security tokens are doing, basically, it's anything new. I mean, it's everything that it's being there already, as you said, before and a long time, no? So it's already regulated. But when you change, the habit, there is where the regulator, is not familiar with, and that's why they are putting some limits, no? So that's why there is a lot of demands, because the people is starting to discover, the potential of this, mainly startups, for example, or other liquid assets like real estate or whatever. But it's the regulator. The first question is, okay, I would love to do it, but how can I do it, and is that legal? So the first move is coming from legality, of course. We need, here in Spain, we've been participating in
if you do it today, can you get in jail? Is that the problem? Or?
No, we can do it, but we are straight on the gray line between legality and illegality, no? And of course, there is a way to do it. It's the unwritten rule out there. But yeah, we have not the rails to go through it. So we would need that, and we would love to have something like that, no? So yeah, first.
Can a company like yours or a project like yours hack your way into that, or you really need formal regulatory approval in 180 countries around the world?
We're gonna hack it, actually, because with the Bricken, till now it's been working with the centralized solution, okay? So we have been educating the clients through all the 5 phases of an STO, from the structuring to the relation with the investors, right? And it's been all in a centralized platform, going around here and with the law in Spain. But now with this decentralized application we are going to launch, we're going to basically release the responsibilities to the owners of the company. So are them, they want to launch an STO. We are creating an ecosystem of experts, giving them support, professional support at a local level, so they are responsible to do what they want to do in their locality. And we are just providing the rails to do it.
So you're like Shopify for STOs, kind of.
Kind of.
Right? So you don't sell anything, you just run a
Exactly.
platform so people can go and offer their cookies or their clothing or whatever in the platform, right?
Yes.
So that
Exactly like
removes
this.
you from the regulatory oversight as a platform, right?
Yes.
And you transfer the responsibility to, in this case, the merchants will be people that want to offer the STOs, right? But you also give them the tools. You say, if you need legal assistance in France, these are the 3 people that you have to talk to, right?
Yes.
And how does the economy of this platform work? You have a token, right? So explain us a little bit about that.
Okay, so basically, there are 3 revenue streams for us, okay? So the first one is the approach. When you come to the platform, you need some experts helping you. The advisor structuring the operation, then the legal experts, if you need some financial advisor, for example, and you're starting to pay them. And you pay them with our token, okay? And we get a little commission. Then they have to make the issuance of the tokens, and that's another fee that we get because they are paying the smart contract and we have expenses there. And then we get a percentage of the raise. Okay, but you can launch once you have issue and tokenize the company at the first time, you can issue as many STOs as you want. So these are the free revenue stream that we have. And as I was saying before, I mean, the experts is linked to the project. So it's responsible if it's failed, but it's also responsible if it's a success. So many other people can link them, I mean, see this link and contract them again.
Got it. Thank you. So Lucas, let's talk about the space from your side, right? Ludovico has a platform that allows companies, projects, real estate owners, whatever, owner of an asset to issue these security tokens and sell them and allow for trade of these assets. You are, I would say, more of a consultant for precisely people that want to do that. And they come to you to do different things, not necessarily security tokens. They come with a problem, right? And you try to provide a solution. And in some cases, a security token becomes the right solution. In some cases, it might be a fan token or a social token, or it might be an NFT. So give us some examples or help us to understand some examples of other things that could benefit from issuing or being run as a security token.
Yeah, for example, in our experience, when companies come to us, is because they want to raise some funds to just perform with a new product, new machine, new whatever, and what they want to do is just issue an STO so they would be able to sell some profitability on the process, the productive process, and they can be founded not by banks, not by like VCs, but by people, like by retail people. So
this is like crowdfunding.
It's a kind of a crowdfunding, but in a crowdfunding, the problem that you have is that when you do so, like you are not in Web3, so you are not the owner of the rights of this token. When you're
putting your money in a black box, basically.
Exactly. Right? So whatever happens with this black box, your money is gonna disappear.
The owner runs away. And
exactly. So in the case of an STO, what you can do, the benefit of doing that, is that the owner of this token that is being issued through Bricken, for example, is the real owner of the profitability that the company is giving you because there's a smart contract like doing these payments, and if something happens with the company, the token will lose value. But if not, it won't lose value. So it's really fair for the customer to buy this kind of product, and it's really fair for the company to offer this product, because you don't have an intermediary like regulating or doing something that could not benefit one or other part. So when a company comes to us and asks us for this kind of solution, we will think about STOs. Like for example, the other day, a customer came to us and he was thinking about like buying a huge machine to do some modelizing, and this machine costs like 1 or 2 million euros, and he was saying, I'm a small company, I cannot afford like this 1 or 2 million investment, but what if I can tokenize this machine so I can bring all the investment and offer my customers the yield over the investment that I'm selling to my clients? And this way you can perform better in your company without putting at risk your financials. So that kind of solution works really well in that kind of a scenario. So that's what we do. We try to think about the problem that the company have, and once we have done it, we try to think about the technology that solves it. And in this case, STO seems to be something that is really useful for companies to raise money. So
it could be a property, it could be real estate, it could be a home, right?
It could be actually whatever you think about. I mean, the only tricky part, and maybe Ludovico knows knows more about that than I do, or even Edwin, the CEO of Bricken, because he's a lawyer. You actually, what you are tokenizing is not the asset itself, the physical asset itself.
Yeah.
You are tokenizing like the rights on this asset. So this way, you kind of have like a way to attach one to another, and whatever happens with one is happening to another in the yield pair. So you have the rights. So if you have the rights, you can transfer them to another person. So if you can sell this token to whatever you want, it becomes really liquid. And that's a beautiful part. You don't need to go to a market, like a marketplace, centralized marketplace, to sell your tokens. As you talk about eToro, for example, you can do it like peer-to-peer, and it's still like very secure. So
Great.
that's something.
So let's precisely talk about that. So clearly, you cannot put a house or a machine in the blockchain, right? There is the real world thing, and there is the ownership of it, and then there is the blockchain. So we're talking really about a legal ownership, right? And rights related to that ownership. So people like you will have a lot of work for a long time, and a lot of lawyers will be needed for issuing these tokens and having these rights distributed. When you think about regulation, at least my basic understanding of why a lot of things, particularly securities, are regulated is because of two things. One is because the government wants to protect the investors, right, and make sure that we don't read all these long disclaimers that normally they give us with an investment, so we just click yes, and then we get in trouble because it was something that it was not according to certain rules and norms. And the other piece is they want to make sure that we know where the money that is being used to purchase those securities is coming from, right? And this is where the famous KYC, AML process comes from. Those are the two pieces on regulation. So, Ludovico, tell us a little bit about how STOs approach those two things, the conditions and the terms and how these securities conform with what we used to in the real world, and how KYC AML is done.
Okay, so first of all, every time there is a purchase of a security token, cannot happen in a DEX, decentralized exchange, because you need KYC and AML. They have to see who is the buyer, where he's coming from, if it's a real person. Okay, and every time there is an exchange on a peer-to-peer market, again, the buyer has to fill up like a KYC, pass through the AML, and the owner, the issuer of the security tokens, has to approve that KYC, because can I be a starter from Spain and don't accept people from France, for example, or North Korea. And as you were saying before, the asset that is being tokenized, it's the contract. I can tokenize a building, a startup, production of avocado of next year, but I'm tokenizing a contract. And the real legal backup, it's there. It's on the contract. So everybody has access to the contract and can download it, and has this support. So if something goes wrong, you can go to the regulator and you can sue the company. You already have all the information needed to do it, and we're gonna help you, of course.
So STOs are not like any other token, in the sense that they have that regulatory support, they have that legal support that provides the investor certain, let's call it recourse, right? As you said, if something goes wrong, if I believe that I was, it was a fraud or something was wrong, I have a legal recourse to go and sue them, right? It's not like if I lost all my money on Luna or USD, and then what am I going to do? I don't have anybody to go and sue, right? So this is a major difference.
Yes, I think so. You are really investing on a real asset. So the real asset is there, it's approved, and of course you can rely on it. And also the issuer has to provide a KYC that we analyze, and that's our quality filter. So it's not that everyone can issue everything from wherever, but first it's filtered because we have to prove that it's a good project or makes sense, the feasibility of the project itself.
Great. So, Lucas, if you think about STOs and you think about the other types of tokens that you recommend to companies, obviously STOs are more complicated. They have the regulatory piece, the legal side. You have to engage with 1, 2, 3, 4 different advisors to kind of build the whole thing. Is this something that over time could be streamlined? Is this something that there are technologies or there are processes that will make this easier? Is it possible for me? I'm an entrepreneur. I created my company. I don't want to go through the process of raising money traditionally and having my cap table in Carta and all these things. I want to do it all in the blockchain. Are we close to have that almost as simple as a Carta or as an agent list kind of a platform?
Yeah, actually, we only have a minute, so I will be quick with that. I mean, it depends on the country, and some countries have like the regulation that is needed to bring this easy way, smooth way to invest and to release an STO. For example, you have it on the United States. It's really easy to release an STO with the kind of same process, and some companies that have been like accepted to do that by the SEC. And for example, what we need here in Spain and in Europe is a regulation. If we don't have a regulation, we don't know the rules. And if we don't know the rules, we cannot build on that like in a secure way. So right now, what we're doing is we're building on something that we believe that is going to happen, which is the MiCA. But we need regulation to have acceptance. Once that happens, it's going to be so easy to bring it to the people. And 1 second.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here.